each type of bulk trailer kind of has its place and has a purpose and does something really well and some other things not so well. Being an entrepreneur, you can experience the highest of highs and the lowest of lows all within the same day. All you can do is laugh in these situations. So today, we're going belt trailering. It's about 3:30 in the morning, getting hooked up. In order to run a belt trailer, you're gonna need to have a wet kit installed on your truck. So that's these lines we're connecting now. So you need what a wet kit is it's a hydraulic pack that pressurizes hydraulic fluid and runs it through a system. Now belts, and like our food grade tank pumps, they just need a continuous flow. So they don't need a whole lot of fluid to push into a system like an end dump would need to fill a cylinder. So we just run little coolers on almost everything. This truck does have an actual reservoir on it just because this is our spare truck and we didn't want to spend all the money. We got her hooked up, we'll hop up, kick on the PTO. Heard her kick in. Then we'll go to the back here. Someday I'll get some sleep. It'll be pretty nice. I'm excited for that day. All of our controls are going to be right here at the end. So we're going to want to read the thing because honestly I don't operate them enough. For knife gate open, I think that one's already open. Yep. Main gate open. Push and hold. So then the gate on the rear is going to come up and we're going to get the inside of the belt. The reason we're opening it up here in the yard is the previous driver took the bows out because he was loading himself with a payloader and he didn't want to damage the bows. So we'll have to throw them back in quick. And each trailer and each bow design is a little bit different. This trailer is an Aulic. We also have Trinities. Western also makes one, Wilson makes one. There's a couple others. A little bit of water in here. So we'll have to try to get it dry before we load. The reason you want all the bows in is so that the tarp doesn't sag as much. Mainly has to do with tarp life. Of course, I left my flashlight in. Actually, I think I left my flashlight under the hood of the truck, so we'll probably never see it again. That's no fun. Started to try to do this blind by feel. I can't see what I'm doing. So the pin that goes through, I pushed it in between the tarp and the rail, so now it's laying on the ground out there. Good morning to you too. Now this one is our short side belt. So you actually have to duck. Apparently we're gonna need a hammer too. Of course. Now, the ones in here are all wet. The ones on the bottom are dry, so we're gonna fix that. So what the hell is a belt trailer? If you don't know, belt trailers are also known as live bottoms. There's also walking floors. That's a different style. They use live bottom interchangeable though, so both a belt trailer and a walking floor are both live bottoms, but a belt trailer is not a live bottom and a live bottom is not a belt trailer, I guess. I don't know. So belt trailers are cool because you can haul so many different things in them. So right now we're here on a farm and I am unloading gypsum here in the field, and it'll be mixed with other products to make a specialty product that can then be spread on fields to increase soil health. But to get out here to get the gypsum in the first place, I brought a load of soybean meal. And that's what we really like about the belt trailers, is the flexibility to haul both feed ingredients, grains, and some other stuff that an end dump would haul. You know, you could do a lot of the same things. You can't do the really, really heavy rock. That won't work in these, but you can do gravel if you want. You can do granular fertilizer, although it is a little rough on the chains, so we don't generally do that. But so here's what we got going on. So this belt trailer here has a belt underneath with the flaps. So this will actually go around in circles. It's one continuous belt. There's one layer up top on the bottom of this load, and then there's a layer on the bottom as it spins around. So you utilize the wet kit on the truck. Now, a wet kit on a truck is just a add-on to the truck that runs off the PTO, power takeoff. So the motor then will run the PTO pump, which will then create hydraulic pressure, which is what we use to run the belt and everything else here on the trailer. So let's unload this load. This one does have a power tarp. I usually don't run power tarps. So this is an aulic, and their kind of thing is they do rent to own. So before I bought a belt trailer, we just rented this one to make sure it was something I wanted to do. And then we just ended up buying it at the end of the rental process. So you'll hop up in your truck, you'll kick on your PTO. You come to the back here after your tarp is open. You've got your controls right here in the side box. Pretty simple. You've got your lower gate, your upper gate, and your belt. So when I unloaded DDGs earlier, because I was unloading into a pit, all I did was open the knife gate up, and then I discharged it through the knife gate so that it would stay in the pit. Now, my other belts have a grain chute that'll slide on so that it'll catch it and it'll funnel it if you're unloading grain and you don't want it to go all over. So you open the bottom gate, then open the main gate. Now I open it all the way up so we can see the product inside here is gypsum, a field lime. So it was loaded with a payloader. And to unload it, it is as simple as hitting the switch. Now the great thing is also with DDGs and stuff of that nature, you can leave it on the trailer and it's not, you know, it's not going to be as much of a pain as it is to get it off like a hopper. Also for dairies, when they want you to stockpile, it's nice and easy to dealing with drivers. So it'll pile up nice, and you could let her go. But if you're delivering to a dairy where they have feed bunkers, you can back in and you can pile it up real nice in the feed bunker. Similar, what an end dump can do, but these don't leave the ground so they don't tip over. But unlike an end dump, they are more expensive and they do way more. So something to take into consideration when you might be choosing a trailer like this, an end dump versus a belt. The belts are heavier, but they don't leave the ground. So you don't have the issue with tipping over. Also, some products that might stick in an end dump won't stick in here because the belt will just push them out. However, these are more expensive and heavier. And they have a lot more maintenance because you have motors, you have hydraulics, you've got chains, you've got a lot more to take care of and maintain on a belt trailer versus an end dump. But versus a hopper, there's no way you could do anything like this with a hopper, obviously. So each type of bulk trailer kind of has its place and has a purpose and does something really well and some other things not so well. These do pretty much everything really well except for the maintenance issues, the cost, and the weight. So if you're getting paid by the ton, this probably isn't the option you want. Unless you're getting a special premium to haul that product, which a lot of times you can. So you let it build up, then you'll have to come up here and move forward a little bit. You just continue to let it pile out, and that'll probably be about the end of this load. We got all the product out. So as you can see, the belt on the ground, the different flaps, they go around continuously. So it pushes the load out. The walls are lined with a poly to make the product slip a little better. Not all of them will have that poly liner. It pretty much just depends on what you're going to be hauling, if you have it or need it. So let's pull forward a little bit more. There you go. Pretty simple. This is a smaller capacity belt. We do have ones that are a lot taller, 3 to 4 feet taller on the sides that haul a lot more. We use those for cottonseed. The way you're going to figure out what the capacity of a belt is, they use cubic yards. So when you're searching for belts and end dumps, you're going to see cubic yards instead of cubic feet like a lot of the hoppers do. Because they're more apt to haul a bulk aggregate product, not so much a grain. That's why they choose to do it that way. A lot of pet food plants will not allow you to run a belt because these bottom pieces are just out in the open going down the road, getting all the road grime on them. So there are limitations to where you can do it. Even some feed mills will not want you to deliver with a belt, which is ironic since almost everything goes to dairy is on belts and end dumps. So you kind of have to know what your market is prior to buying one. So that's a belt trailer. That's what it does. And we'll close it up and we'll go home.